Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition on a Tuesday evening because we're tracking the Pune car crash and the devastating consequences of that, which led to the loss of lives of two young people in their early 20s working as techies in Pune, returning home from on a Saturday night from what was probably a very, nice evening with friends and encountered this guy uh, behind the wheel of a Porsche going at 150 kilometers an hour. The CCTV footage, I'm sure most of you have seen it, it's absolutely shocking. But what is still even more shocking is, Suhail, that this seems to happen with alarming regularity. You have these rich, spoiled brats behind the wheels of high speed, ultra expensive cars who think they own the roads.
So, what has happened is there's too much of power in the hands of the police, and the police are at the lower end of the chain. And I'm not saying all of them are the same, but the ability to influence the police is far greater than the ability to influence anyone else. So, what is happening is now everyone, and rightly so, even AIM, even Abhijit has said, oh, how could the judge? And they're right, but the judge will go basically on the evidence or the charge sheet or the report that has been filed by the cops. The cops, by the way, are pretty bribable and have been for the longest time because they're so low down in the food chain. What happens is it is very easy if there is a time lag and if there is not enough media or public pressure for them to do the kind of stuff that they've been doing for ages. Now, if you look at the track record of hit and run and conviction in this country, it is abysmal. People say, oh, he wasn't even driving. People say, oh, he was not drunk. People say it was the fault of the victim. What has happened is the victims always get either shamed, blamed, or lose in a battle. The chaps who win is big money. That somehow has to be stopped. Now, it took Devendra Fadnavis to actually convene a meeting in Pune of the Pune police commissioner and the commissionerate or whatever the hell it is to say that, look, why can't you actually create or why can't you file a complaint in the court or a petition saying that this person must be tried as an adult? The guy's drinking, the guy's driving. These people are entitled brats. Their parents encourage them no end. The parents are also at fault. The tragedy, Advaita, is if you allow this particular instance if you allow this chap to get away, then it's a free pass for anyone. Also, in the past, we have seen, as I mentioned earlier, zero rate of conviction. So people get away. How tragic is it here that a guy drives a super luxury, very expensive car with no care in the world? And what are the cops doing? You tell me, Pune is a dense traffic city. First time this joker must have driven the car. The car has no registration plate. It has nothing. What if the car was involved in a dacoity or in a terrorist act or whatever? So, to my mind, the people to be blamed is the Pune police, fair and square. Parents are, of course, stupid rascals, but that will come to later. But the people who need to be blamed are, to my mind, the Pune police. The police commissioner is a shame on policing. The way he was even conducting himself before Fadnavis reached. See, this is the other problem. How is the food chain working? Advaita Kala hits someone. I'm just using you as an example. Advaita Kala hits someone. Pallavi Ghosh actually hits someone. Pallavi Ghosh then hides behind her power as a mobile journalist in this case, or as a rich person in that case. Then what happens is Pallavi's minions get into the act. Not that she, poor thing, has any. They start influencing the cops. They then get the best lawyers. By the time you have actually awakened to the calamity or to the tragedy, you feel, oh my God. But the other
But
problem
I
is
want to
human
comment,
life in India is
Suhail.
cheap. Human
Suhail,
life
I
in India.
know.
10
I
आदमी
know.
मरे, किसको परवाह नहीं है. Now you tell me, if the same incident had happened in Bulandshahr or the same incident happened on a highway, none of this would have happened. So the tragedy is, we need the media, we need the public, we need the people from the public to create pressure, because the law on its own is impotent, lethargic, and unwilling to do anything.
Okay, just to come in here on the top cop in Pune, I think it's someone called Amitanshu Kumar or something to that effect, but he's got a very good reputation of being an honest cop. Just to put
Now
that
again,
in
this
there.
is the other bloody problem. Bhai,
No, but he has that
खाना
reputation.
ठीक से चलेगा. हाँ जी, नेब सिंह सैनी तो बड़े honest हैं. Honesty is a given. If we were looking for bank tellers, we would look for honesty. It's a given. I want to know if this Amotesh or whatever his name is he competent? From his
Well,
utterances, he didn't seem so.
okay,
Everyone else
okay.
has told me that, there are two views, as they always are. So I don't know if he's competent.
No, but I mean, the reason why I'm highlighting his reputation, I mean, this is hearsay, I must specify, is that, in these cases, a lot of times we look at situations where there is outside influence used. It could be monetary, it could be power, it could be any of those things. But this guy, at least for now, what his image is that he's on the straight and narrow. And I
Look,
think
no
that's
one is,
significant.
1 minute, let me
Yeah.
say it clear. Don't put words in my mouth. I'm not saying the police commissioner of Pune is corrupt or a dolt. I'm saying he's come across because of his utterances, number one. Number two, is it the police commissioner's job? What about the investigating officer? Is the police commissioner's job to be patrolling the streets past midnight? No. What happened to the excise inspector? What happened to the licensing people? What happened to the RTO? This is a Bangalore dealer who has sold the car to this jerk who's been driving it around. There's a registration period that within 90 days you have to have it registered. No one has followed the law. भाई हमाम में तो सब नंगे हैं. तो आप पुलिस कमिश्नर को सिर्फ क्यों ब्लेम करोगे? The reason why I'm blaming the police commissioner is that all the utterances saying now we will take action, now we will do this, came a bit too late, and it was too little. You see, what has happened is the law in this country, whether we like it or not, it's a very pernicious kind of way it works at the lower levels. Now they will go on the basis of a report of the cops. To blame the magistrate or blame the judge is unfair. He is going on the basis of भाई कागज में क्या लिखा है. अगर मैं कागज के ऊपर जो लिखा है उसको influence कर सकता हूँ, that's what the judge will go on. Now, if the judge has been given a piece of paper which seems to exonerate this kid, now you tell me the police commissioner now says, oh, we went to the juvenile justice board, they didn't listen to us, we said try him as an adult, then we went to someone else, then we went, Arey yaar, you tell me, if the cops want someone nailed, you think they can't get the judges to nail them? Of course they can. So did they try hard enough? Did they get the best lawyer? Was the public prosecutor the best lawyer in Pune? No. I'm not here to blame the cops, to blame this, to blame that. Amartya Sen in a book called Idea of Justice famously says, ultimately justice is about fairness. What has happened to those two people who lost their lives and their families? Is that fair? The answer is no.
Yeah.
What has happened to the people of Pune and the reputation slander? Is it fair? Answer is no. The slander and the reputation damage to the Pune police, is that fair? The answer is no.
Yeah. Pallavi, you've been tracking this very closely, giving updates. The background of this Vedant Agarwal's family is quite powerful, in the sense that they are wealthy. They're into construction. They own a couple of hotels themselves in Pune. They're well connected in the system, outside the system. This sort of impunity with which these accidents happen has a pattern of repeating itself. If you recall, back in 1999, there was that case with Sanjay. What was his last name? Narang or Nanda? Nanda.
It was Sanjeev Nanda.
Sanjeev Nanda near that Mercedes.
Yeah,
Sanjay Narang.
who ran over some people on the
Sleeping
footpath.
people near the
Sleeping
Lodi
people
hotel.
on the footpath, and then went
But
through
1
the
minute.
same
The
road.
only difference was that guy was not drinking. It was in the middle of the night. It
And he
was
was
all
not, and he was
fogged
not a
out,
minor.
and he was not a minor, and he served jail term.
2 years,
He
and then
served
he got bail, and then he came back.
6 years.
Some,
Two years,
it's
Suhail,
a
and
long.
then
It
he
was a
got bail,
circuitous
and then he
process.
went back because of public
Which
outrage.
brings me to this whole testing thing also, with this alcohol testing that happens, because even this guy is not showing, or it's showing below the extra levels, Pallavi, of alcohol consumption. And someone on social media, we've got to sift through a lot of this, is saying that he ate a pizza and that would reduce his alcohol intake. So we know this is where it starts, right? This is where it starts. The influence steps in, and then suddenly the person behind the wheel or not behind the wheel, they've had alcohol or they've not consumed alcohol. The waters start getting muddied very early on in these high profile cases.
No, and also the thing over here, Advaita, is that there is a definite shift in the law. I mean, I remember this is Gadkari also used to push for these road accidents, where he said that the minors can get away by saying, okay, they were a minor or they were not drinking, and the driver is to blame, which is what is being said in this case, that the driver ran away and he was not driving and so on and so forth. So somewhere you fix responsibility, and this was Mr. Gadkari's point of view, that you have to fix responsibility on the parents on two grounds. One, why are the parents giving such a luxury car and allowing him to drive? And second thing is, you go to a pub, you're drinking, and there's CCTV footage. For quite some time, they were arguing that he was not drinking till the CCTV footage started coming out, which very clearly shows that the drinks were being served. So on multiple levels, there has been a violation of law. What about those two pubs? And another, we know this in and around us. I have seen it often. And, like I'm guilty of not even objecting at times, because we tend to think, Are, hame kya pata karne do? There are pubs, there are restaurants which serve drinks to
Absolutely,
minors.
yeah, they don't care. I've seen Pallavi drink when she was a minor. Pallavi, 1 minute. We can't hear you. Where are you, my child? Are you in Calcutta? Are you in Calcutta?
She's gone. But picking up from there, the entire having a background in hospitality, and being familiar with how these operations work on the ground, the entire ecosystem around this, Suhail, is corrupt. Starting from the very permissions that you need to run a bar or a restaurant. You could be in a five-star hotel, you could be a dhaba, you could be a modest bar in a hole in the wall sort of place, but you will have to bribe people to get permissions, to
So
get
now, why?
licenses. And it starts there. Like every thana will have a connect with every one of these outlets, and it's an ongoing relationship.
You tell me, Advaita. Oh, for someone who's asking me if I was having black tea, no, it's cold coffee. Now that we've given that, we put that aside. Let me just ask you a couple of questions. If you remember, Sachin Vaze and Parambir Singh, when Sachin Vaze was picked up by the CBI, his confession was that Anil Deshmukh, the then Home Minister in Maharashtra, had set these guys a target for Hafta Vasuli. Everyone knows. Everyone knows कि सब मिले हुए हैं. That's the only phrase of Kejriwal which has ever made sense. Including Kejriwal भी तो मिला ही हुआ है. So point I'm making is, why is this happening? This is happening because of three reasons. Number one, the nexus begins not with the public and the cops. It's with the politician and the cop. They both save each other. The cops make sure कि politician को कोई harm नहीं हो, politician make sure cop को कोई harm नहीं हो. Who gets PSO'd in the middle? By and large, the judiciary. I have to say this, the judiciary, to my mind, by and large, is completely honest as far as it can be compared to these two arms. So what happens is, I want a permission for a bar. Typical mindset कि भाई बार अगर ये चलाएगा बहुत पैसे होंगे, इससे एक परसेंटेज ले लो. So they'll take 1%. How does Advaita Kala pay that 1%? Not through GPay. You have to pay it in cash, which means you generate cash. The chori, everyone said Modi demonetization was not successful. Are you ashamed of? Aren't you ashamed of yourself? You are you're blaming Modi. What about taking the blame yourself? We are a country that believes in cash. We are a country that believes in bribing. So why blame Modi? Oh, by demonetization fail ho gayi. Now, let me tell you, as far as as far as the laws of this country are also concerned, you have a very clear policy on hit and run. It's not being followed. Now, no one is objecting to the law. People are objecting, including people on Twitter and all have objected to the fact that every hit and run case has taken more than a decade to even come up for final hearing or final trials or whatever. So forget that for a moment. What do you think it does to the families of the victims? You know what it does? They are then saying to hell with it. Advaita Kala has run over someone. She is willing to pay. Isse paise lo or kato. Why are you going far, Advaita? What happened over Pahar? You tell me. What happened? Including great valiant people like Neelam Krishnamurthy fought a great fight till the very end. And then what happened? So I'm saying, in this country, I think Ashish K. Mishra of Morning Context said on Twitter very well today. He says, this is one country where if you're poor, you have no chance. But if you're connected, you do. Now, I'm not therefore saying that, the connected can get away with everything. They can't. People have served prison time. But we are seeing, and this Pune case is not about the law being broken. It is about the brazenness with which you can then say, "Maine kiya hi nahi, jo karne kar." It's the brazenness which is more galling than anything else.
Pallavi, Suhel is saying, and there is an argument in that the judge is only going to respond to what is presented to him, and that is what the cops bring to him, to his table, and then he takes a decision on that. But in a case where two young people have lost their lives, is it enough to write an essay and then be told of so many days of working with the traffic police? I mean, it's laughable. It's a mockery. This is no punishment. This is something you would tell your kid to do if they don't finish their homework on one evening and get sent home. That's what you would tell them to do.
Yeah, and thank God for the outrage, because then the judiciary, see, they also follow the rules. There was never any clarity on who's going to be held responsible. I remember, was it 2 years back, Suhail? There was in Park Street also, there was a 17-year-old, or there was this boy, I remember, who's around 5 to 6 days just before his 18th birthday, and he hit into a cop. And he was tried under the juvenile justice law. And, it was quite liberal. It was not so strict, and therefore it was okay for him. And that is when the debate starts coming up, is that why shouldn't accountability then be fixed with the parents? So there are gray areas, because we were speaking to legal experts through the day, and many of them said that, the laws are such that you cannot entirely blame the court if the court says, okay, you write an essay, because they're treating the child, the 17-year-old, as a child, as a kid. Ki hum aise karo. Like in school we used to be told, I will not do this 100 times you write. It is ridiculous. There has been a lot of outrage. The father was absconding. And then finally he was caught at 4 p.m. and then he is detained and now, of course, formally arrested and so on and so forth. But it throws up and there may be many other cases we don't even know about, Advaita, in smaller towns. They get away. They are influential people. They are bahubalis who maybe they get away. Multiple level of violations took place. As I was talking about, there are pubs and restaurants in and around us. People they tip extra. Do they even check whether you're 17 years old or 18 years old before you come into a nightclub or you come in to have a drink or not? No. They presume you look 18, so ye 18 jaisa lagta hai, adult jaisa lagta hai.
No, I believe, Pallavi, I checked on this. I believe there is now a very vibrant system of fake IDs as well. Especially with that too. Photoshop and all this stuff, that is quite widely used. Suhail, you were saying something?
No. Just taking off from what Pallavi said. There's a bit of responsibility that we as citizens also have to take. I know of many people who drink and drive. I know of many people who don't wear seatbelts. I know of many people who don't wear helmets. I know of many cops who I see on motorcycles not wearing helmets. Yeah, so it's like, Vinash Kale, Vipreet Buddhi, Vinash Kale. So why blame what? I'm not even getting into. See, I will still say that a lot of people who have accidents don't plan on having those accidents. I will not condone the people who drink and drive, because they are not only a threat to themselves. If they die, I don't care. but they're a threat to other people's lives, as we have seen in the Pune case. My problem is something else. My problem is an accident is called that it's an accident. But when you know you're drinking, then you're driving, then you're behind the wheel of a luxury car, which you know can go up to, astronomical speeds, and you then get away. So it is the brazenness which I object to. It is the fact that you are educated, you know what you're doing. One idiot many years ago asked me, he said, but truck driver bhi to logon ko marte hain. हाँ भाई मारते हैं. But does the truck driver actually plan to, he's not driving at 100 or 200 kilometers an hour. And we are not about discussing which accident is better or cleaner or swifter than the other. The logic is, how are we allowing, and plus remember, Advaita, it's the optics. The optics that the Pune case sends out is terrible for politicians and for the cops. The optics seem to suggest if you're powerful, you will get away. Now, many people on this whatever the hell this is, on the chat have said, what do you think of Salman Khan? What do you think of this? What do you think of this? I'm no one to think. Everyone knows. I mean, you have to be an idiot not to know. But the point I'm making is, where do we begin the course correction? I'm a solutions-driven person. Where do you begin the course correction? So I have 4 solutions to offer. Number 1, you cannot have one size fits all in the legal framework. You must treat hit and run, drunken driving, DUI, drunk under the influence of alcohol cases separately, as they are anywhere in the world. In the US and the UK, they wouldn't be bothered juvenile, no juvenile. So that's number 1. You need to overhaul and segregate the legal framework from the overarching juvenile justice system. Number 2, you must put a finite time limit to investigation, trial, judgment. Number 3, there has to be prosecution of the investigating officer if the investigation does not begin and end in right earnest, as you talked about the pizza and all that stuff. Number 4, you have to ban those people, even after they come out of prison, for life from touching any vehicle, as is done abroad. So these are 4. I'm sure a lot of the people will have more suggestions. But these are 4. Why are you not giving the RTO? Where are those scoundrels? Why are you not giving the chaps who have given this joker a license?
Suhel and Pallavi, I'm saying that it starts from the fact that this guy at 17 and a half should not have been behind the wheel of a car. Be it a Porsche, be it a Maruti, be it a Tata, he shouldn't have been behind the wheel of a car at that age. It's not legal for him to be driving. So who gave him the keys to that car?
Obviously,
the father knew. I mean, this boy, in fact, when he was just caught, he did say that my parents knew. He blurted it out. And uske baad, when they realized that this could become a legal problem, I guess their lawyers advised them. Then they started changing their statement. Ki nahi, wo driver ne chala liya. Driver was drunk, and therefore he had to sit there, and so on and so forth. So there are multiple levels of cover-ups which are clearly happening. And I think and I fear that this is something which will be soon forgotten. Abhi outrage hai, everyone is talking about it. Give it a couple of months down the line. Lawyers will find out some loophole in the entire thing in which the child will get away. I mean, this is going to be a big mark on a child's life. No? 17 and a half. Hai. I mean, he's got
I don't even want to call him a child. I mean, the guy raised something like a 40,000 rupee bill in that pub. He was driving in a car. He has no business to be behind the wheels now.
They're giving.
You're taking cops are good. See their investigation tone. They were first checking out the antecedents of those 2 people who died. What is their relationship? Kahan pe mile? All of that.
And the other thing also, I mean, when you see the CCTV footage, this is not a lonely road. This had, I mean, it was only when I read that the time was 2:30 a.m. But if you look at just the CCTV footage, it felt like it could have been like a 10 p.m., 9 p.m. sort of situation with the number of people on the road and the cars, and it was well lit, all of that. So why was there no cop on the beat, you know, who's tracking this speeding buffoon all the way from that pub to his residence.
And look at the CCTV footage. Three young guys, they are happily sitting there, they're drinking. There's one girl I can see who's serving on the tables. Even to us,
Yeah,
when you
why
look
are
at
you
the CCTV
surprised?
footage,
It's
no,
happening
I'm not
everywhere.
surprised. We're talking, yeah.
It's happening in
Precisely
Delhi, it's
because,
happening in Gurgaon.
because
I
it's
don't even know
happening
where our
everywhere.
goddamn
Suhail,
Haryana chief minister is, because there are more
no,
liquor vends in Gurgaon than there are bloody schools and traffic lights. तो
and
अगर
not
आपने
only
यही
that,
करना है, इस
Advaita,
देश को फिर आप मैखाना बना दो, शराबियों
no,
को
but
आप
not only that,
ड्राइविंग लाइसेंस दो.
Suhail,
No,
hear me
like
out.
what you
Not only
mentioned,
that,
Sohail, earlier, like yesterday also you complained, was about the roads completely clogged outside Shiv Nadir school, where kids were being waited on by chauffeurs and drivers and mothers waiting to collect them from
Three
school.
ambulances were stuck yesterday. Three ambulances
Can you
on Shiv
imagine? This
Nagar
is,
on Sunset Boulevard.
I'm sorry, there is something going really wrong with parenting also
Arey,
at
these,
a certain level.
I don't want to say, need to be very. You see, the problem is the parents also. If we asked our parents for a car की गाड़ी भेज दो instead of the school bus, एक थप्पड़ मिलता. यहाँ नहीं बेटा, गाड़ी क्यों, प्लेन ले लो. This is the new entitled situation, and that's the problem.
Pallavi, so what's coming up for this case? What's the father's been arrested? He didn't.
the father's been
Ideally, he should
arrested.
have just sort of surrendered. But anyway,
No, father's
Well, he
not been
was
arrested. Has he been arrested?
Yeah.
yeah.
Now, what our reporters now has said that he has been formally arrested. See, there's those pictures which I put out into a group. No, it shows that his father's been
Now
arrested.
you tell me, under what law have they arrested him?
ये तो I'll have
I
to
ये
think
भाई
check.
criminal
बेमिसाल है.
negligence
अभी
would
किसी को
apply.
पकड़ना है just to calm and assuage the public sentiment. Now let me tell you, this is where the legal
And the
screw up.
police commissioner is on every channel giving interviews, trying to explain that don't be under this impression that we have been very weak on this case. That's not true.
Now
And
tell
then
me,
Devendra
is the
Fadnavis
father going to be arrested for allowing underage drinking? It will not hold, yeah. It will not hold any substance in a court of law. This they are doing just to get the optics right, the cops. And let me tell you, you're talking about people in cars, people on motorcycles are even worse behaved. You have jokers in Gurgaon. The pillion rider is standing behind the chap and they are
I
waving and doing
agree.
all kinds of nonsense. Sometimes I wish those guys actually have an accident so they don't. I mean, I don't wish they die, but I wish they have an accident so they don't do these stupid things again.
No, you're absolutely right.
Out of those sunroofs.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. This is not. This is to a certain extent about privilege, but it's not only about privilege. There, like Suhail said, there are people who are on motorcycles who endanger not only themselves but other people on the road, and this happens with alarming regularity. There's no denying that at all.
अब आपने
But
बाप को
again,
अरेस्ट कर लिया है. अब लोग बोलेंगे भाई बाप का इसमें क्या कसूर है. But what will happen is Pallavi Ghosh's colleagues will calm the down. They'll say, "Oh, yaar, ek arrest to ho gaya. Ab shant raho. Now let's move to the next story." That's what they want. This arrest this arrest is a very pernicious way to deflect attention from this story, Advaita. I'm warning you today. This dad's arrest will have no legal locus standi. I can tell you 100%. Tomorrow you have a child, the child goes drinking, you'll be arrested. Then you're opening a can of worms. So I'm just worried that this is not going to hold any water in a court of law.
So what happens is that Devendra Fadnavis in his press conference said that we are going to appeal to a juvenile court and board and request them to relook into their judgment. They can't, because even the juvenile board is handicapped by the law. According to a law,
Correct.
this is the kind of punishment. After Nirbhaya Kand, I remember the J.K. Verma report and everything. It dealt with all of that: rape, heinous crimes, drunken driving, all of that. Kuch nahi hua. Because there were people who were in power who themselves were opposed to the idea, nahi, bachche ka pura future kharab ho jayega, it's going to have a psychological impact. And there were the psychiatrists, there were these activist groups, they all jumped in. Nothing changes, nothing will change.
And now let me give you another thing. Sorry, my child. One quick thing before I forget, because I'm older than you guys.
Suhel,
now let me tell you the gochi that will happen.
When the show ends. Yeah.
You know, some people are saying, oh, the father has been arrested, the car is in his name. I can take a bet the car is not in his name. The car is in the name of the company. Tomorrow, who will go? One director who's paid a pittance, वो नाम के वास्ते जो director होगा company पे, उसको वो लोग डालेंगे. You watch how this plays out. Today we are on May 21. Revisit what I'm saying. The father has been arrested. These jokers are saying car is in his name. I can take a bet. These fellows don't spend one paisa of their own money. It'll be on the bloody company name and some shareholder will be getting screwed. You think we don't know how this shit works? So now you watch. The father will be out on bail within 2 days. And the whole media attention will shift to some other stupid comment by some politician as a runner in the run-up to the elections. आप मेरे को ये बात बोलो, अच्छा आपने डीलर को अरेस्ट नहीं किया? Technically, the first arrest should be the Bangalore dealer. I'll tell you why.
1,600 kilometers without a number plate.
They give a temporary license. The temporary registration plate must be converted into a high security number plate within a certain number of days. The responsibility of that lies with the distributor, dealer, whatever the hell it is. अरे आप देखते जाओ ना. It's a unholy mess and an unholy nexus.
Yeah, and we should continue to track this because I think we are deeply disturbed by this, and there has to be a change in the law. I can't imagine why there has not been a change in the law when this happens with such alarming regularity. We have to redefine what it means to be a juvenile, and hopefully once the elections are out of the way and there's a new government in place, Parliament will revisit this age
Parliament
bracket.
is not bothered, Ross. Parliament is not bothered. You think these jacks care? Parliament doesn't give a monkey sauce if the whole country goes to hell. These jokers are fighting with each other, walking out of Parliament. That's the tragedy of our country. You're expecting Parliament to pass laws where people are dying? Not at all. That's the level of disrespect I have today for our institution called Parliament.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Now,
Pallavi,
I'm not saying a Narendra Modi or a Rahul Gandhi individually can make the difference, provided they want to. But don't expect Parliament.
So I feel very strongly about this because I covered the Nirbhaya Kand and I was very much a part of that covering of that J.K. Verma, Justice Verma committee report, which talked about, how to juvenile code. There was a lot of debate. Ultimately, what happened? The report also could not suggest that juveniles in case of heinous crimes must be treated as adults. Because there were activists who jumped in, there were political compulsions where politicians jumped in. It got no consensus in Parliament. And it's not about party A, B, or C. It is all politicians who actually come together, irrespective of the party lines, when it comes to these what can be controversial political decisions. And that's why I'm very sad, but whether nothing will change. इतना भी ये लोग नहीं कर पाएंगे. And Suhel, you're saying 2 days. I think it will be a little longer for him to get bail. He'll get it. Juvenile board के laws कैसे change होंगे? They will not review the decision.
No, and even remember Pallavi, post the Nirbhaya juveniles.
यार ये ऐसा देश है जिसने आर्यन खान को बिना कारण अरेस्ट किया था. ये हमारा देश ऐसा देश है. Aryan Khan did not even board the ship. You had a rogue cop in the form of Sachin Vaze and belonging to one of the finest police forces of our country, the Mumbai police. ये तो हाल है. तो आप इनसे उम्मीद रखते हो? इन बदमाशों से? इनके घरों में इतने इन्होंने criminals पाले हुए हैं. You think they care a damn? Sachin Vaze arrested Aryan Khan, Shah Rukh Khan's son. Shah Rukh Khan, with all his power, his fame, whatever the hell it is, it took, his son was arrested, I think, on the 2nd of October and was released on 22nd or 23rd of October.
Now look what has happened.
51 days.
Now, Rahul Gandhi has just tweeted, even as we speak, where he says that...
Yeah, Wankhede, not Vaze, same bloody difference.
wait, can I complete? He just tweeted to say Narendra Modi दो हिंदुस्तान बना रहे हैं जहां न्याय भी दौलत का मोहताज है. Again, this has become political. I want to ask the same question to UPA when you were in power. Why couldn't you do something about the Nirbhaya Kand and justice, juvenile justice mode? They didn't. So this is what is going to happen. It will be mired in politics, and they'll keep on blaming each other, and nothing is going to change. It is not about Modi. It is not about Rahul Gandhi.
Who has sent this tweet?
Rahul Gandhi ने tweet किया. He's issued a statement
On?
Twitter.
Now,
This is it.
what does the statement say? Read it in English.
She already has.
Narendra Modi is creating two Indias where even justice is dependent on wealth, and he's issued a statement. I mean, I bet if you can put that up, there is a statement. There's a long soundbite he's just given out.
Oh, he's given the soundbite.
Yeah, see, this is on his Twitter handle.
No, but tell me, my dear, this he has given in the context of this Pune thing or just generally?
Yeah. No, Pune thing.
Okay, 1 second. I'll share the.
But can I tell you one thing? I support Rahul Gandhi on this. I'm not taking.
Why didn't no? But Suhel, fine. But why didn't UPA do anything about it when they were in power? I want to.
Yeah, that way though we can go. Why did Jawaharlal Nehru not marry Edwina Mountbatten? वो तो फिर इतनी दूर हम लोग जा सकते हैं. Let's be reasonable. I support Rahul Gandhi for even commenting on this.
बस ड्राइवर, ट्रक ड्राइवर, ओला, उबर, ऑटो ड्राइवर अगर गलती से किसी को मार देते हैं तो 10 साल की जेल में सजा हो जाती है और चाबी उठा के वो फेंक देते हैं. मगर अगर अमीर घर का 16 साल का 17 साल का बेटा पोर्श गाड़ी को शराब पी के चलाता है और 2 लोगों की हत्या करता है तो उसे कहा जाता है कि ऐसे लिख दो. ऐसे ट्रक ड्राइवर से, बस ड्राइवर से क्यों नहीं लिखाते? उबर ड्राइवर, ऑटो ड्राइवर से क्यों नहीं लिखाते? नरेंद्र मोदी से पूछा गया कि 2 हिंदुस्तान बन रहे हैं, एक अरबपतियों का, एक गरीबों का. उनका जवाब आता है क्या मैं सबको गरीब बना दूं? सवाल ये नहीं है, सवाल न्याय का है. अमीरों को, गरीबों को, दोनों को न्याय मिलना चाहिए. न्याय सबके लिए एक जैसा होना चाहिए. इसीलिए हम लड़ रहे हैं, अन्याय के खिलाफ लड़ रहे हैं.
I totally agree with Rahul Gandhi up to the time when he mentions Narendra Modi. See, this is Rahul Gandhi's problem. He has a perfect
that's what I was objecting
which then sinks like the Titanic.
But
I'll tell you,
dragging in Modi,
the point that he has raised, I totally support him, and I'm glad that Rahul Gandhi has raised that point. We belong to no political party. I couldn't give a monkey's toss. He has done the right thing. Now, to drag Narendra Modi, you're just stupidly politicizing. He could have stopped there and it would have been an outstanding, responsible comment from a mainline politician.
But it was working for me till he started like pitching nyay.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Electoral spin about this nyay card that the Congress is playing, and everything has to do with that. So I think it was just political vulturism as usual. He could have done a better job of it. It does make sense what he's saying, but then he links it to Nyay and makes it a campaign pitch, which is, well.
Can I tell you, the people in this country, I have a lot of respect for Justice Chandrachud, but the people who are getting a free pass in this country is their judiciary. Koi kuch nahi keh sakta. They are, no pun intended, a law unto themselves. And while we have excellent judges, we have some of the most formidable jurists, I don't even know when we will begin to make changes at the lower levels of the judiciary. So, I mean, that too is a serious issue.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to get back to this issue. We'll keep track of it, and we'll, of course, do live shows on it and get behind what's going on, because I think there is a desperate need for justice to be delivered in this case. And the more the politicians stay out of it, the better. But, that's not going to happen. So in either case, I think as common citizens, we should make our voices heard and keep the pressure going. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Suhel, Pallavi, for joining me. And we'll be back soon. Thank you.